Hello everyone, this is Chris with Sticker Fab. It is 5 p.m. and around 90 degrees. Maybe it's about 88 degrees. Today what we're going to do is add hood struts to our 2025 Toyota 4Runner. Of course, it just comes with a normal hood prop, but like all SUVs I have, I wanted to get rid of that as soon as possible. Here's a quick look at what comes with this kit. The upper brackets, this will be the passenger side, this will be the driver's side. The lower brackets, this being the passenger side, this being the driver's side, and the two gas struts, and they will be faced this way with the shock tube towards the hood. And then you have one bolt for the passenger side, and you will reuse a bolt for the driver's side. Other than a gas strut kit, the only thing you're going to need is a 12mm socket and a 13mm socket. This right here is 12mm, this right here is 12mm, and this on this side is actually going to be 13mm. To get into the areas around the fenders, you're either going to need a small socket wrench or you're going to need open-ended wrenches because it is a little bit narrow in there. If you happen to have a hybrid vehicle, your battery will actually be in the trunk and you'll have a coolant reservoir around here and it's going to mount to that. So you're going to use the factory bolt to mount this lower mount on this passenger side instead of the supplied bolt. Since you're only removing one bolt over here, you don't really have to worry about the hood moving very far. I do have KC Highlights ditch lights mounted on this vehicle. So you can see that additional bracket right there. I'm going to back this bolt out. And this upper bracket kind of contours this little piece of the original bracket. So it curves back, and this little ball winds up on the bottom. I was worried a little bit that I wouldn't have enough thread to get through these two brackets back into the factory bracket. You want this edge to line up against the factory bracket. So just hold it there while you start to tighten it. Kind of remember how much force you used to loosen it up and use about the same amount of force to get it back on. Now go ahead and repeat that for the other side. All right, so I'm on the passenger side. The bracket for the lower area has this little tooth and it's going to go in this little hole in the frame. And then the bracket's going to extend around this little ground and you have to thread in the supplied bolt. Kind of hard to see it from this angle. Just gonna feel it out. Can tighten it down. Then I'll show you what it looks like. Like I mentioned earlier, there will be a bolt right here from the factory in the hybrid models that holds a coolant tank. And you're gonna put the coolant tank back on top of this new bracket and then bolt it all down. Again, a tight area, tight fit in here. Actually, this might be 13mm now. All right, scratch that. The bolt they provide is actually 14mm. All right, I'm going to fix that in the beginning. You're going to see that I added. You're going to need a 14mm. At least, if you're using the supplied bolt. I don't have a hybrid, so I don't know what the factory bolt size is for that. Our Land Cruiser is a hybrid, but I don't think it has the same fenders. I'll go check real quick. All right, that's in there and snug. All right, now we're on the driver's side. I did go out to our 2024 Land Cruiser, and it does have that coolant tank. And I would say the bolt was about 12mm on that side. It is pretty small. I have to switch back down to 12 right here. Yep. I have to back this bolt all the way out. All right, this sucks. I'm probably gonna have to switch to an open-ended wrench. Probably shouldn't put things right inside the engine bay. All right, it would be nice if I had open-ended wrenches that had a little ratchet on them. So this is gonna take a little while. All right, now the last bracket is about to go in. Pretty easy to figure out the orientation. Just have to hand thread this in this very narrow area. I'm going to put a little pressure forward on this because you can tell this wants to push up against this bracket. And that's probably how it provides itself stability. Now I'm going to have a really hard time seeing. I'm going to use this open-ended wrench until it gives me enough room to get that ratchet in there, and I'll finish up with the ratchet. All right, got that all finished up and tightened. And now let's install the struts. These gas struts are the same exact size, same exact make, everything. It doesn't matter which one you put on which side. Just make sure that the tube is on the upper side and this shaft is on the lower side. Just push it over that little ball. Then push it over this one. You may need to lift the hood up. So let's take this hood prop out. Then connect it. Hood's actually being held by just one. It opens the hood up a little bit more, so it's easier to kind of dig in the engine bay with this. We'll just put our hood prop back. Of course, you can take it out if you want. Let me go do the other side, and then we'll close this up. All right, so I've already tested this, so I know it works pretty well. Just takes a little effort, pops right up. You could either slam shut it or let the latch hit, and then give it a little push, and you're done. So, it's 2025. Prices of vehicles keep on going up. Sometimes features keep on going down, but this is a cheap kit to add on to your vehicle. You can find it at slickerfab.com. Please like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you have not already, and hit the bell notification icon for the latest and greatest things I'm coming out with for the 2025 and up Toyota 4Runner.